All right, we are on our way over to the Academy here in Atlanta. We're going to meet Professor Rylan Lazares. He is in town because he's on a tour here in the U.S., and I'm taking advantage of it and grabbing him to do a few private lessons. We're going to cover some material on his particular way of passing the guard today, and I thought you guys would like to come along.
So what did you want to work on today?
Well, last year, I came to the Big Frogs, Jeff Curran's event in Florida, and fantastic event. And I didn't get to grab you at that event and when you were rolling with the guys, but I got to watch. And I noticed that you were implementing a few new ideas on your guard passing. Years ago, we had a seminar here, and we worked on guard passing and then controlling side control. And but I think we did it a little more defensively, how to protect against it, avoiding the head going across center. So I'd like to pick your brain first on what you're doing now for guard passing. And the second thing I'd like to ask you is I'm doing a lot of armed grappling right now. I'm building some different programs for different groups. And we're doing different types of methods of trying to angle the body to protect, because you're pretty much grappling with one arm. You have to have something on the straight edge or the gun at all times. So you're defending and trying to work on escaping while you protect the firearm. So kind of would like to pick your brain on that idea and see what the computer comes up with.
Most of passes involve me avoiding the guard.
Right.
And we pretty much we come up thinking, like, I don't want to be in the closed guard. I kind of want to be in the closed guard because it's very simple. So we posture because it keeps me out of the danger zone and gives me structure. But a lot of times I fatigue and I fall forward into the danger zone. But instead of staying here, we prefer to do like a tripod.
Because now you're carrying my weight, I'm close, I'm very parallel. If you push me, go ahead, I'll float, right? If you try and submit me, even if you do for a triangle or anything like that, my head is out of that danger zone.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go for it.
Yes.
Where you're at.
So typically, now you're bearing my weight, you would have to push me away with a lot of force to create any type of space. And I won't stay here, but say if I start to fall in this danger zone, so my head passes your shoulder, then I'm back up.
Okay.
Rounded back, like Hickson style, like this. Now if you try and pull me forward, I'm out of, I'm all the way out.
Right.
You pull me forward again, right? And then I can dive again when I'm
Tired. So I'm staying here all the way in, all the way out, just managing the distance so that you don't really have any opportunity to sweep or submit me.
And you're posting on the head.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to, it's just like an extra post, but it's not so much my weight. My weight's on you.
Okay.
If you were to extend your hips,
You put me in that danger zone.
right? So the idea is that when you extend your hips, I float over you. Do you see that? So I pivot so that my head stays in that same zone.
And that's the same, that's the same mechanics as like in our standing pass. Right. If you do like a double ankle sweep over here, I fall back. The professor shows that if you do the double ankle sweep, kind of push you through.
Right.
And that allows them to keep position. So we're just kind of utilizing the same idea of maintaining the top, so I don't get my head in that danger zone.
Okay. That's I've not done a lot of that. That's cool.
Yeah, so what happens is like, and you know what? I started experimenting with this a long time ago. This is actually when Josh Barnett had Huron in Metamoris.
Yeah.
And he completely shut down Huron just by doing this tripod type passing.
Okay.
So I would like to stay here. If I get too tired, then I'm here.
And if you start to extend, I'm on my
You're coming up on your toes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
right? So your actually reactions are going to be to try and either put a hook sweep or even open your guard to readjust.
Yeah, I want to move, to be honest. I don't. You can tell that it's just going to be detrimental to me to try to drive and push you.
So I'm going to feel right now. So once I feel the guard open,
Right.
the side that my head's the opposite will go in, and then my head side is just going to do like a little step. Then it's going to put me in a spot where I'm in a very high parallel tripod, and I'm basically chest to chest. So if my head's on this side, I feel your guard open. This is going to go in and out. So that's all I'm doing. And I'm just waiting for the timing. Sorry.
So anytime I feel your guard open, right, I'm in such a good spot. Like we could almost never get like chest to chest on someone really good.
Right.
It's so hard to get to that position, but they'll facilitate that when they just try and improve. I'm gonna try that real quick. Right, so
I've got to compensate for a knee.
it's okay, it's okay. So this actually might be better for you too, because you don't have to be up. Once I start pulling you forward, just dive forward, like double underhooks, choose the side, like yeah, go deep, like you want to pummel, like my yes. There you go. Walk your feet up, and anytime I push, just float. Like I get up on your tippy toes. And, yes, there you go. Elevate your hips. So I'm actually stacking myself here, right? You're gonna feel this release, this like step, high step, boom, and you're yes. Now look, there's no frames. And you're in a spot where you could start any pass.
So you keeping it hands here?
I like the double unders. Not as close. Like I almost grab my collarbone, like my shoulders here, like a stack pass. Yes, because then you can stay super close and you can decide if you want to bail.
Do you try to kick this out, or you try to clear with the outer hook?
It depends. It depends. You know, sometimes you want to do a clean pass. You'll windshield wipe over. Again, against a good guy, I'm happy to just get chest to chest here and just camp out and look for the opportunity. But this gives you almost a shortcut into like a real dominant passing start.
Okay.
Let's try again. And the best thing is, say you maintain posture, you're waiting like as much as you can, and then you're just gonna you just know, yes. Now this guy is pushing and my guard's open, right? So do your little shuffle and
So are you like sinking the knees?
No, I'm really, yes. You're almost trying to stack my hips over my head. Yes, there you go. Nice. I'll even put my chin hooked on the shoulder. That's like an indicator right there. Yes.
Ooh.
Right. So if ever I start getting your chin off, relax a bit. Here, now you're gonna go back to your upright posture. Yes. And then you just got out of that danger zone.
Yeah.
So you go whenever you want to, and basically it's you ride the wave. Right. So if you try and come forward, it's not gonna work.
Right.
Right. But you maintain your posture. Now I'm pulling you in, so now you can forward.
Right. And it opens up the doors.
Yes. I pull you. Yes. Right. And same thing. If I hold you, you stay. But if I push you, you can. Yeah, you can. Yes. There you go. That's all it is. Your opponent will lead you into the better position.
Okay.
This is almost anti what the game plan or the meta is now, right?
Right.
Most people are trying to avoid the guard. We're going to go back into the guard.
Right.
But if you think in terms of like fighting and combat, that's the safest position for me to be in. And also, I think modern passing is great on the outside, but it doesn't account for that you're going to kick me away and stand up.
Right.
This only exists in jiu-jitsu, outside passing. In fighting, guys are diving on each other because they don't want each other to get up.
That's true.
Yeah. Any questions on that?
No, makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Just training.
Yes. So here now we're going to start to do that kind of soft follow or that angling. So what happens is I want to stay here as long as possible, right? Make you tired and find find that high step for the pass. But what I'm going to start to see is that say if I'm here, you just keep your guard closed, you're relaxed. So I'm trying to stack you, it doesn't really work, right? Mm-hmm. And you're almost just waiting. So if that happens, the side opposite my head, I'll post, and I'm going to kind of walk, and I'm going to sprawl your leg down. And once your leg is down, then I'll do my leg twist.
This is what you did at the event.
All right, so keep your guard close here. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to first line base, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. Yes. So you can try and move me around over here.
I'd probably break and make a little space.
Yeah. So anytime
it almost makes me want to.
Yes.
Yeah. Come out of there.
So anytime I feel the guard open, right, I'm going to step over your leg, just like the tripod. So if you try to make an adjustment, it's going to take you multiple steps to get anywhere, and it takes me only one step to get here. And then from here again, I can go real high into my tripod, and I can start doing any type of pass. So I'm still forcing that reactive opening, right? Like I'm not forcing your guard open. I'm putting you in a position where you want to open it.
Yeah.
And then one thing to keep in mind is that when I'm seated like that, it takes you 2 to 3 steps to do anything. Right. So you would have to open, hip escape, frame, shoot your legs, grab my neck, 2 to 3 steps. Where it takes me only, when I get to this shit up here, once your guard opens, it just takes me 1 step to get over your leg.
Do you have to deal with a lot of this, a lot of pressure from?
We do.
It looks like it would be detrimental to me if I got too far across.
It's actually not bad. especially because if I'm over your leg already.
Right.
So I actually learned this past like very, very long time ago, and they still teach it to this day. You'll see people that get really tight on the hips or really tight in the collar.
Right.
So what I found, right, through lots of taps, is that the actually most common submission is if you push my face and you go for an omoplata. Yes. But it's still a frame, a hip turn, and then a leg
It's
pass.
2 or 3 to your 1.
So what happens is, through the years I've modified. So instead of saying low and tight, I'm actually high. So even if you try an omoplata, look at my position. Even if you get out at an angle,
Well, if you've got that shoulder in socket, it's not gonna.
yeah,
I'm not gonna make it anyway.
and you don't have the mobility to bring your leg.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the adjustment, and actually this roots my legs. So if I'm tight like this and you start to tip me, I'm very weak. But if I'm tall, you try and tip me,
Right.
and even better, if I feel like I'm really tipping, I lift my hips up.
Yep.
So now I have like a
Huge.
super tripod. Let's stay here and set the pass on.
That is nice.
We're almost like we're conditioning them to not want to go into the close guard, which actually makes it easier to pass.
I like it. I like it for the firearm too, because most people carry on that side appendix, and you're turning it away from me.
Yes.
It's pretty much out of reach in that position.
It's and this the rules are almost like pummeling, right? It's typically one an underhook so someone doesn't duck into the back.
Right.
So you could do an overhook in the front, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But just like a body lock is pretty universal, whenever I enter, I'll do a double under, which is kind of like a body lock.
Right.
And I could choose to go over on whatever side I want. And I can also say if I try and dive and you block me, I can also swim. Or so you start to block this side. I can almost swim in like I'm pummeling to get in for anything. Tripod. So it feels very similar to the clinch.
50-50 tie up.
Exactly. And then even on when I pump a little bit over here, right? Your hand is going to start to come up to push my knee or grab my gun, whatever it is. And you can still use this to control. Right, so the front side can always be like an overhook.
You know, I've played it a few times as far as techniques goes, but what I like that you're doing is you're putting yourself in it and you're drilling it. That's really, I'm a big driller. So anything I try to do, if I don't have a drill, I'll make a drill.
Yes.
And I like that even in your tactics for passing, you're playing and seeing what you're getting, what cards are your opponent going to play, and then working off their deck. I like it a lot, actually.
What I always like to say is like, I'll always give my opponents problems that I know how to solve.
Right.
I don't want to walk into a problem that I don't know how to solve, so I give him these problems that I know the answer to.
And hide behind the door he's going to open.
Exactly.
Outstanding. I will plug that in. Couple of questions on the firearm.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I'll grab some toys.
Yeah.
I'm either protecting here or I'm protecting here.
Okay.
And you have to switch according to what's going on, but this is where I'm at. So the question is avoiding being flattened. Because obviously I'm sure the computer is already looking at ways to disassemble the mechanics of the position. So that would be question number one, is how would you eliminate the mechanics and get them flat? If I can get them flat, getting this is way easier. Striking them is way easier.
So I work with a lot of MMA fighters, and the game plan is different. So they're not going to play the guard. They're almost going to wrestle out.
Right.
It's very hard to hold them down.
Totally agree.
And what happens is, if we're focused traditionally on the upper body, like this, they're going to stand right up. So what we do to take this away is to utilize just what Professor says, the femur, and to take away your legs.
Right.
So I'll be able to maintain the top without pressure, because if I put weight on you, you're going to figure out how to push me back and move the weight. But if I just cage you and I start blocking your legs, now when you try and get out, I'm blocking your femur with my body, my hands are free, and you cannot explosively bridge and turn.
Correct.
So this is the position, like say if I take down like a really good fighter or wrestler, I'm gonna hold them here versus doing this, because the connection you're able to utilize. So, but this is actually what we want, our kickstand, right? So I'm blocking and folding and blocking here. So this allows me to get access to the mount, but you have to now utilize your arms to do anything. You can't push me.
Forces me to play the game.
You're gonna have to put your elbow out or your wrist out, in which I can grab.
Right.
So from the top man, this is what I would be looking for if you're hiding like that. The first connection you make on me, I'm gonna explode. Boom.
Right.
Right? Or now, if you make that connection, you circle back to my hips. Yeah, there we go. Now that explosion is like dissipated. Yes.
That's nice.
And I'm wrapped up. Like for a passing perspective, I could do mount over the legs pretty easy if you wanted to get there. But again, it allows me to, especially if I'm close and you're a very good framer, right, underhook, you can't kill me there. But if I do this, I can almost stay back. And if you push me, I'll just.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. But if you try and bridge and shrimp and turn, get pretty stuck.
It actually tightens it up, doesn't it, if I turn into you?
If you straighten your leg and do a shrimp, you're going to bind your knees together. Yeah.
So,
There
it
you
could be hip drag or knee drag.
There we go. Yep.
It's interesting, and easy sit up for
The mount. Same thing.
Slider.
Yep. And then keep my knees together. You just mount it with my thigh over there. Yep. Yes.
That's great.
Just a different way to control. And I train a lot of fighters, right? So the matter nowadays is nobody's playing guard. They're like getting to their knees or resting out. They're giving their back so they can shake you off.
Right.
So it's like sometimes passing the guard traditionally and going for upper body control, it's just going to make them stand up.
I don't go there much when I'm playing the gun game or the striking game. I like it.
But I can see why, right? Because you're actually utilizing your arms to control them, where their arms are free on the bottom.
Right.
So if I control you with my body, at least my hands are free to fight and grapple and look for weapons or control hands.
Play a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna play some ideas. I'm gonna try it anyway.
Nice. There you go. Nice. I tried bottom. Oh, there was. You see how I kept your head here?
Yeah.
So if I keep if you cannot get over, like if you got over, like if you got your head over my center line, like how yes, you would have been good in the pass, right? But what happens? Say you do get it over, this is like the first level. But because I know how to negate that, I'm gonna put your head in the inside.
Yeah.
So you got to dive your head high, the high tripod. Yes. So now I'm gonna put you in that passing position. You see how that works?
Okay. Then I just have to navigate this.
So what I'll do from here, just get your shoulder like in my chest or neck, and get your butt really high tripod. Yes. Now slice your leg. Yes, there you go.
Try not to put pressure.
No problem. Go for it. If I pull you in, you can just go for the dive. Yes, underhook. Yes. Nice. High step. Yes, there we go.
And do you
So once I'm
or
over,
stay up and start?
yeah, once I'm over I'll put my head down on tripod. High tripod. Yes. There you go. Yes.
I'm just gotta get used to that. It's not a go-to spot for me. So
Yeah. I would like so you can just feel it. Like anytime I can get this over this foot, I'm gonna be real tall. Go ahead, try and move. You saw how high my knee is?
I'm gonna have to start defending side at that point.
Yeah. You just kind of default there every single time. You'll get a pretty good sequence.
So
Be cool. Yeah, there you go.
I need to get that a little lower.
Very good. That's strong. And so walk back, push the ankle with the hand. And so shimmy your hips just up and down, side to side. There we go. That's it. So your hand is just taking up the space. Your hips and your legs actually break it.
Nice.
Say you don't like the high tripod. The main thing is you don't let my foot out. So just kind of pinch your knees together and then relax your arm. Then when you want, you could say you go traditional cross half guard and move your hip past my center and go cross face. Just this way. There you go. And just go right into the yes. There we go. You need to go into a comfortable spot.
Nice.
My main thing is you can never extract that leg. So if I just go like this, once I step over it, get your leg free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Right, and the more you struggle, the better it is for me to come over the top.
I'm actually pulling you into the
Yes.
next position.
Yes. It's a timing, right? If I actually pass when you're resisting, I pass into a frame. But if I pass when you're retreating, I pass into a better position. Yes. Nice. Just wait. If I elevate, just lift your hips up. There we go. Nice step.
You can almost lift me up right there, though.
Well, you just go
I
back.
guess I'll just go right back in the seated position, right?
Yeah. So go back down. Let me show you. Right here. So imagine if I'm pushing you from the guard, and you want to kick me away. You're gonna win. But imagine if you want to kick me away. See, I went over you, so I'm never losing connection. So even though it feels like I'm not stable, the more you push me away, the safer I actually am, because I fall into the slot.
Okay.
If I resist you when you push me away, now I'm in that danger zone. I don't have to reach you back up.
So you're just relaxing a little around the
Just ride it. Get comfortable floating. So if I push, just float. Get up on your toes. Yes. Yes. Just get your hips over your head. There we go. Right. My back starts. See right here. Now my back is locked out. I open. There's the high step. Ooh.
Oh, that's
Yeah. There we go. Yes. Yeah. There we go. Nice. I think like what I tell a lot of the guys is that you don't have to pass the guard the way that I pass. But if you use some of these intermediate positions, you can instantly use it. High tripod, soft hollow, opening. Then you go to like a seated half if you like it that way. Or you back up to a knee slice, right? So you don't have to learn my whole passing system, but a lot of the intermediate positions, that's actually the key. Because they're like stopping all of your offense and making you use twice the amount of energy that I'm going to be using.
I like it. And it's very position or structural based. Because I'm old and broke. All right, guys. Hopefully you got a little something out of that. I definitely did. I'm going to be taking a lot of this material, much like the last time I got to train with Professor and train it for a while. Thanks for dropping by and seeing us. Hey, if the guys want to connect with you, what is the best way for them to find you?
We're on Instagram, Technics Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram. Also, we're on Facebook, so Gracie Technics Honolulu.
All right, and I'm going to have all that information put in the description below. Thanks, guys. You know, it's always pretty cool to get on the mat with someone that has a good amount of time in anything they do in any martial art and get an opportunity to ask them their perspective on different areas. I really like to do this, and it's one of the things I try to do when I travel around the United States is if I can set up some private lessons or different training opportunities with other individuals or peers in the industry and get their perspective on a lot of things I'm working on. Much like what we did today with Coach Rylan, we got an opportunity to look at some guard passing for Jiu-Jitsu, and we also got an opportunity to work on some of the gun or firearm related grappling material that we've been doing for the CTAC program. And so, you know, that's really interesting. It's gives you a different perspective, helps you with growth. I've got to say, I picked up some really great ideas that I'm pretty excited to work on in the future with the guys, both in jiu-jitsu class and in those armed grappling training sessions that we've been putting together quite often here lately. With that said, a lot of that firearm grappling related material is in our CTAC program. If that is something you are interested in taking a look at, you can find more information in the description below. We'll put a link to the website, or you can go through our main website, sifualanbaker.com, SIFUALANBAKER. Until next time, guys.